Hello, Centurions! I'm Miss Tarantino. I teach business here at FRC. Welcome to the FRC Career Symposium 2024. Today will be an exciting day where you will have the opportunity to meet 99 different adults who are in different careers, from vets to biologists to electricians to insurance to you get the idea. Today is about you. Explore different careers that you never thought of or the dream career you've been dreaming of since you were 5. The more active you are, the more you get out of the day. Okay, the day will flow like this. First, you will watch this video, which includes a keynote address, an explanation of the symposium, what to do at the symposium, and how to be entered into a draw for a grand prize. Then you will be called down to the gym. Please do not bring your backpacks. You will receive a passport outside the gym. In the gym, you will actively participate by asking questions to the professionals. Then you will return to class.
Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Chen and I am your NDP MLA for Richmond. I hope you're all having a wonderful time at the Career Symposium and seeing what options are available to you in the future. The journey that you will all embark on after graduation is a very exciting one, though change can also be scary sometimes. Whether you decide to pursue post-secondary education or go directly into the work field, there is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to planning for your future. Some of you may want to take a little break, see what else life has in store for you. It is absolutely fine to go at your own pace and learn what works for you and what you want to do after graduation. When I graduated high school, I was interested in sports, and that's what I studied in university. Now I am an elected public official. I never dreamed I could become. Follow your dreams and stay open-minded to all the roads lay ahead of you. You are capable of amazing things. All the best.
Our keynote presenter, this means the person who's setting the theme for the day, is Dr. David Ness. Dr. Ness is the Director of Student Counseling and Wellness at the University of Manitoba and an associate professor. He is a clinical psychologist who provides counseling and therapy to students at U of M, and he had a son who went here at FRC.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Ness, and I'm the Director of Student Counseling and Wellness at the University of Manitoba. I've been asked by your teachers and others at your school to share some thoughts on career decision-making and planning. I want to start, though, by congratulating all of you that will be graduating soon on your upcoming graduation in a few months. I know that this can be an exciting time, and I know it can also be a little bit of an intimidating and daunting time as well, as you move from something that you're very familiar with, that is the school system up through kindergarten through grade 12, to something new and different. And for some of you, this can create all kinds of different opportunities and possibilities, while for others, you can be stressed about that. I want to focus on the opportunity side here, though. You have now freedom to really tailor your educational experience, your work experience, how your life looks in a way that you didn't have before. I think that there's really a lot of good things about that. Now, I'm predicting that some of you, maybe many of you, have some plans for what you're going to be doing after graduation. Some of you may pick careers, jobs that you're moving towards and feel pretty good about that. I'm also predicting that there's many of you who are really uncertain about this, may not feel like they have any ideas and are really worried about that. I'm also guessing that there's people in between. I'm guessing this and I'm predicting it because that's what research says. That's been my experience working with post-secondary students and some high school students as well. I know people are all over the place, and that it's really normal to be uncertain, to be confused about what you want to do next. And that leads to one of my first messages I want to share with all of you, which is to be kind to yourself if you are unsure, to not see yourself as weak or stupid or lazy. Most people are uncertain about their career paths at some point. Even those of you who have picked careers are likely to change those plans. Research suggests that 80% of graduating high school students change their area of study, their career paths, in the next couple of years. And most change on an average 3 times. And they're doing this because there is uncertainty. We're not given the best advice on how to make career decisions, and we're learning about ourselves. It's normal. So please remember that when this is happening for you, and don't criticize yourself. Remember that for most of your parents, they change career paths as well. So it's not like something is wrong, but you do have to do something about this if you're unsure. You do have to make some choices about what you want to move towards. So I've got some different recommendations and ideas about this. So I'm going to start with if you have any career ideas at all, or even if you pick some paths, you can be doing this. And that is engage the ideas that you do have. Don't just think about them thinking that, well, I might want to be an electrician, or I've been thinking about going into engineering, or maybe occupational therapy, or just finding a job. We have these kinds of thoughts, and that's fine, but you've got to do something with them to help you make a decision. And what we mean by engaging the ideas is, first of all, maybe talk to someone who's working in the area that you're considering to learn more about that field. And you might learn about other related jobs as well. See if you can volunteer in something related to that area of work and career. Maybe even find a part-time job in the area. Do some research, read about it, see what other kind of things you can do. Take courses if it is related to post-secondary study related to that area. And as you engage in it, pay attention to your experiences. Are you enjoying it? Do you find this interesting, rewarding? Then you're probably in the right path. If you're doing all this work and you're finding, nah, I don't really like this, it's not engaging me, well, that's a good sign too. We need to find something else for you. So always keep that in mind. Any career idea you have, consider learning more about it. And this goes back for the last couple of years. If there's anything you've ever thought about, well, maybe that would be good to go into, learn more about it. Now, this relates to one of the other career recommendations I have, which is never ever commit to a career path, whether it takes more education or finding a job, until you've talked to at least one person doing that job. We need that first-hand, real-time information to help build our confidence, to help ensure that we're moving towards something that we know about, rather than getting surprised in a really negative way. For example, I've had some students who were interested in pharmacy and had clearly never talked to anyone in that career because they were surprised to learn that chemistry was involved in pharmacy. It may seem intuitively obvious for some of us, but some of us might miss that. So we've got to be really careful about this and learn as much as we can and not trust just our intuitive knowledge. What I mean by that is sometimes we think we know what a job involves, but do we? Because you've had a plumber come to fix something in your house doesn't mean you know what a plumbing job is like. Because you're in school doesn't mean you know what a teacher's job is like. Because you've been to a doctor doesn't mean you know what a doctor's career is like. You need to talk to these people to learn more about them. That's going to build your confidence. It's going to create other ideas. It can really actually excite you if you're finding some things that are engaging and interesting. Now, let's say you're one of those students, and there's many of you that have no ideas, or you're really uncertain about what you want to do. Reflect back on your just interest in life. What engages you? What do you like to do with your time? What, if it came on television, will you actually sit and watch? If something came across an internet feed, like if you're on MSN, what stories do you read about? What does this tell you about your interests and what you might want to pursue? Sometimes we can get career ideas from that. You can simply Google careers related to an interest that you have, and you will get ideas. This is a legitimate way to start to create possibilities. You can also talk to people in your life. If they have ideas, you don't have to do this on your own. You could talk to teachers. If you're in a post-secondary institution, many of them have a career services department like ours. You can go talk to them and they'll look at your interests and see what you can come up with for other ideas for that. Now, let's say though, you're not even sure about your interests, and that's real normal too, because we're developing as people. Then your task is to learn more about yourself. And there's a simple way to do that. You have to engage in more different activities. You got to try different things because that's the way you're going to find out about yourself. If you keep doing the same things that you've been doing, you probably exhausted what you're going to learn about yourself there. So try something new. Change jobs. If you've been working the same part-time job for many years, that's going to stretch you. Can you travel? Can you volunteer? Can you just engage in different recreational pursuits? Every time you do something different, you're going to learn something different about yourself. Some students go as far as to take a gap year. A gap year is simply not studying for a year after high school. Some people do this in the midst of post-secondary studies too, by the way. And they do this to learn more about themselves and the world. And that really is the key thing about a gap year. You don't want to just take a year off working the same jobs you've been working, hanging out with the same people, doing the same things, living the same place. You're not going to learn about yourself and the world doing that. You might learn that you miss education or doing other things, but it's not going to really help you expand as a person. You've got to try different things. And by the way, gap years are recommended by a lot of prestigious post-secondary institutions. For example, Harvard and Yale encourage all students to not come to their institution right out of high school. They say take a gap year, again, to learn about yourself and try different things. By the way, parents can sometimes get kind of stressed out about the idea of a gap year. They worry that their son or daughter will never go on to studies or return to them. The research just doesn't support that. When students do take a gap year, they tend to come back and be more directed, be more motivated, because they realize, yeah, this is something that I really want. Another message I want all of you to remember and believe is that don't ever believe there's nothing for you. There are tens of thousands of jobs that exist in the world. And you have the skills to probably do 95% of them. Now, you don't have the interest to do all those, so you have to find a couple dozen or more that you do have interest in. Sometimes that can be hard to find, but know that they do exist. And the way that you can find those is by talking to others, using the support services you know, but never giving up. Okay, don't ever think there's nothing for me. Probably what you mean is there's nothing that you know of right now for you. Fair enough, that can happen. Go and look at the resources. You can look at lists of highly recommended jobs. Now, keep in mind though, you have to decide which of those jobs fit you, because most of those lists, like top 10 lists of careers, focus on how much they earn and job security. Those things are important, but we know that there's other things more important than that. There's not one job that exists that everyone would like doing. For example, I would never want to be a medical doctor, have zero interest in that at all. And I'm guessing many of you would not like the job that I'm doing. That's fine. We have to find what fits for us. Okay, so always keep that in mind. I also want to just talk about some of you are not interested in more education at all right now. That's fine. There's many high school students who say, okay, I'm done with this for now. You can always return to education later if you want to, and you may not need to. You need to go find work right now. So use resources to do that. Make sure you do a good resume, do a good cover letter, seek advice on how to do that. Because a lot of people, when they're applying for work, do a really bad job of representing themselves. They look for shortcuts. Employers don't like that. They look for people who are willing to do more. So really do the best job of applying that you can. And when you find those jobs, it might have to be entry level because you don't have as much to offer yet. Look for opportunities to add to your skills, take on new responsibilities. If you hear of some training that's available, see if you can do that. There are still lots of examples of people who work their way up through companies, through organizations, and can do very well, financially included, without ever having any post-secondary education. I know someone like that who has never had post-secondary, and now they drive much more expensive cars than I've ever driven, BMWs and so forth, have a bigger, nicer house. They found something they really liked and they kept adding to their skills, connecting with people, and things just kept being presented to them. So know that that is possible for all of you that are out there. And if you take that job right out of high school and you don't like it, don't feel trapped. Look for other jobs as you're working. There's lots of different opportunities. You might have to take some time to find another position, but consider changing and moving and find that thing that does fit for you. But don't feel trapped, okay? For any of you, the decisions you're making now are for the next few years. Okay, not the next few decades. That's kind of daunting. That's a big decision. Focus on the next couple of years. You can always change your path. You can always try different things. That's one of the best things about this era is that there's a lot of different programs out there. There's universities, there's colleges, there's tech programs, there's small one-year programs, couple-month programs. There are so many ways that you can reinvent yourself. Don't feel trapped. So feel like I've got to make the decision now for the rest of my life. Not necessarily. You can always move on and try different things. In closing, I do want to share that if you do end up at the University of Manitoba, we have many resources to help you, including a great career services department that you can actually go into right now. Go to the website, all of you. Career Services U of M, they have recommendations for career, and you can engage and use some of those right now. Even if you were never going to come here, they could be beneficial. Don't sit idle, I guess is the key thing. Don't wait for a lightning bolt of decision-making to hit you. Usually doesn't, but if you engage, pursue ideas, talk to people, you will find the path for you. In closing, I want to congratulate all of you again that are graduating. I hope that all of you have a great summer. Take care.
Okay, every student will receive a passport, which looks just like this. There are 20 spots where you can earn a signature by actively engaging with a professional. This means asking questions. You can find some suggestions for questions on the back of your passport. Once you have 20 signatures, you can enter your passport into the draw to win an amazing grand prize. Signatures will only be given if you ask questions, so don't just ask for a signature.
Hey, can I ask you some questions about the career?
For sure.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Can I ask you some questions?
Of course.
What responsibilities does a typical day in your profession consist of?
I think most people know what teachers do in front of the students and in the classroom when they're teaching. Responsibilities also include supervision. There's a lot of contact with parents, there's communication with resource teachers, guidance counselors, administration, parent-teacher interviews, coaching, supervising clubs, going on trips. There's a lot of responsibilities. It's not easily just kind of summarized as teaching in front of students, but that is the main responsibility.
Oh my God, there's so many. How can I go through them all? Things like making sure I have assignments ready, making sure I'm marking assignments, making sure all the students' needs are met, making sure I'm following curriculum, making sure I do all the report cards, all the reporting, everything that admin asks of me. There's lots of policies to be aware of, lots of documents to be aware of. There's a lot of responsibilities.
How many hours per week do you typically work?
Well, that kind of varies. I think typically you would think of like a 40-hour work week, but when it comes to your profession, you put in as many hours as you really kind of want. I feel like there's some weeks where I feel like I'm working 50 hours a week, and there's some weeks where I feel like I'm working closer to 40, and it just kind of depends on the time of the year. It depends on how much supervision or coaching at the time is happening. Prepping for new courses, grades, there's report cards, it kind of fluctuates. So I would say when you're in a profession, you're doing something that you love, you don't necessarily count the hours.
What do you like and dislike about your profession?
I love the fact that I get to deal with people daily, different people. There's always different situations coming up. So that's a positive for me.
What I do like is the ability to teach what I enjoy. For example, something with personal finance or economics, something I'm passionate about, and sharing what I know with others.
And having fun teaching the courses that I love to teach. I love seeing kids learn and enjoying the courses that they're learning from and about.
My favorite thing about teaching is how every semester you get a new group of kids, new classes, so it's like starting fresh, which I absolutely love.
Well, obviously my favorite part about teaching is the relationship with the students and working with the students. Honestly, I love everything about it with the exception of marking. If I had the option of not marking, I would definitely give that up. But everything else I actually really enjoy.
I dislike report cards, marking, watching students look at their cell phones while I'm trying to teach them.
I don't love the whole thing about being limited to September to June, and there's no flexibility in taking time off during that time.
What kind of training is required, and how long does it take?
And if you're able to take a full course load every single year, you should be able to finish 2 degrees within 5 years, but a lot of kids take 6 or 7 years to get it done.
Where is this training offered, in Manitoba or somewhere else in Canada?
This training is offered in Manitoba at both our major universities. So you have University of Manitoba and University of Winnipeg. You can also get a French or Francophone degree at the University of St. Boniface for education. And I believe there are other universities that offer education, perhaps Brandon, I could be wrong. And most university centers throughout Canada will offer an education program in some capacity.
Which high school courses should I take to prepare for this career?
I don't think you need a really specific courses to be a teacher, but just being involved in the school and getting a lot of volunteer opportunities would definitely help, or getting involved in student council and things like that.
What would the job opportunities look like in the career field in the future?
I believe they'll be very good. Students will always need teachers, so there's always going to be a need for teachers.
At the moment, it looks pretty good for teachers applying for different positions. I just read an article in the CBC a couple days ago actually saying that there is a teacher shortage throughout Canada, and applying for jobs. There should be lots of job opportunities right now, I know, and hopefully as well in the near future.
What would a beginning salary be for a career in your field?
That's going to depend on which school division you work for. They're all slightly different, but in the general range for most school divisions in Manitoba is your starting salary is around $60,000, and you top out after 10 years around $100,000. If you go back to school and you get more education, then that amount will increase that range a little bit more the more education you have.
What characteristics are important for success in this field?
You obviously have to enjoy working with kids. I find you also have to be very patient, understanding, have empathy. What else? Critical thinking skills would be important as well.
Lots. You need lots of characteristics to be successful as a teacher. You need to be patient and kind, and you need good problem-solving skills, and you need to be able to understand people really well. When your students are struggling or not struggling or getting a concept or not, you need to be able to recognize that just in their body language and their facial expressions. And you also need to be able to command a group of people. You need to be able to speak to a large group of people. You need to be able to think on your toes and be willing to change at the last minute or in the moment. So lots of flexibility with that. And you have to work hard. It's a lot of work.
Definitely being able to adapt to challenges that can arrive at any minute, and being a constant, lifelong learner. It is impossible to learn a subject and continue to deliver that for the next 50 years. You always have to adjust and update what you're teaching.
Characteristics, you have to be very patient, you have to be understanding, you have to be really organized, and you have to be really passionate about what you're doing.
Are there volunteer opportunities to help prepare for this career?
Tons of volunteer opportunities to help prepare for this career. My favorite one is coaching or volunteering with youth or with children. So that could be through community sports. It might be through a church or some other organization like that, or charities, or volunteering at shelters. There's lots of different opportunities to volunteer where you're in that kind of leadership role with youth, and they're really great at getting you prepared for a teaching career.
Yes, definitely getting involved in the community. Coaching is always a great one, or any opportunity where you're leading young people. So at camps or at church or youth groups would always be a good option.
We hope you have a great morning and take advantage of the knowledge of our 99 guests. Hopefully this symposium will help you plan for your future as an FRC graduate. Remember to be on your best behavior. You're representing yourself, FRC, and everyone in this building. These professionals are volunteering their time to be here. So enjoy your day and have fun.